Ansari announces its IPO price range, and the UAE is investing $30 billion in South Korea. You're watching the Daily Brief with Forbes. I'm Ramia Faraj. Ansari Financial Services has announced its IPO price range. Shares will sell for between 27 and 28 cents, implying a market cap of between 2.04 and $2.1 billion. 10% of its share capital will be offered, with potential for Ansari to increase the size of the offering. The group is expected to distribute a minimum dividend yield of 7.7 to 8%. The IPO subscription period starts today and runs until March 24th. The UAE plans to invest nearly $30 billion in South Korea over the next few years, covering several economic sectors. Non-oil trade between the two countries totaled nearly $5.3 billion in 2022, up 14% from 2021. UAE exports to South Korea grew by 17.5% last year to exceed $781 million. South Korean FDI in the UAE totaled $2.2 billion by the end of 2021. Credit Suisse will borrow $53.7 billion from the Swiss Central Bank to reinforce the group after a plunge in its share prices. Its stock price plummeted after major shareholder Saudi National Bank declined to invest more in the group, citing regulatory constraints. The loan disclosure came just hours after it said capital and liquidity levels are adequate for a systemically important bank. Credit Suisse says the funds will be used to support core businesses and clients. Goldman Sachs has cut its forecast for U.S. GDP growth in Q4 as smaller banks decrease lending to preserve liquidity in the face of the banking crisis. Analysts are now expecting a 1.2% year-on-year growth for Q4, down 0.3% from an earlier estimate. The fall of SVB Financial Group has ignited worries about other lenders scrambling for funds to meet deposit withdrawal requests. Despite federal agencies' aggressive action to support financial system, stress at some banks persists. The Federal Reserve's emergency loan program is expected to inject up to $2 trillion of funds into the banking system to boost liquidity. That's according to JP Morgan. U.S. authorities established the Bank Term Funding Program in the face of the banking crisis. JP Morgan says it should be able to inject enough reserves into the system to reduce reserve scarcity and reverse the tightening that has taken place over the past year. The Biden administration has demanded that TikTok's Chinese owners divest their stakes in the app or face a possible U.S. ban. The move follows the introduction of a new U.S. legislation that would allow the White House to ban TikTok or other foreign-based technologies if they pose a national security risk. Other countries and entities are also banning the app. TikTok is owned by China-based ByteDance, the world's most valuable startup. Abu Dhabi's G42 has just taken a $100 million stake in ByteDance. And bankrupt crypto exchange FTX made transfers of about $2.2 billion to company founder Sam Bankman-Fried. FTX's new management say overall more than $3.2 billion was transferred to company founders and key employees. These payments were made chiefly from Alameda Research hedge fund. FTX says the transfers didn't include hundreds of millions spent on luxury property in the Bahamas, political and charitable donations. Bankman-Fried is charged with stealing billions of dollars in FTX customer funds to plug losses at Alameda Research, among other crimes. I'm Ramia Faraj. This is the Daily Brief. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.